Yo, welcome back to another video. It's your boy, Johannes Trust. I'm dropping these what ifs. I'm trying, I tell ya. But, let's just get started with the what if Naruto had Whitebeards powers. You might say, I'm copying Feather, I'm copying Izukage. Not the case, you know. I technically created this before both of them on my OG channel, but I have all that shit privated. But if you want proof, I got the screenshots. I got the proof. I got the video. Anyways. The story begins with the Nine Tails attack, Naruto's birth. What happened is, with the Namikaze, the Uzumaki, and the Nine Tails chakra all meshing in a certain way, it created this new Kekkei Genkai. We will call it Quake. Its ability is to shake the molecules of everything. Anyways, Naruto growing up, he was detested by the village, as in canon. And one day, after getting attacked by a bunch of villagers, he runs into the forest, and he's angered, he's enraged. And he punches this tree, but the tree, it kind of like bends, and then like it just shatters. And Naruto's like, what? Because he noticed like this like kind of bubble around his face for a second. He was shocked, and he'd try and do it again, but it wouldn't work. Until, you know, he thought about what the villagers had done. He was super angry again. And he does it again. He's just like, what? What's this ability? That's when he goes to talk to Hiruzen. And Hiruzen doesn't actually believe Naruto at first. And when Naruto goes to show him, he's really struggling at getting to come out. And Hiruzen genuinely believes Naruto was lying to him. However, when Hiruzen starts to walk away and Naruto gets extremely angry, he does it again. The ground starts to bend and you see a quake beginning to form. And Hiruzen's like, okay, I believe you now. Please stop, because that's dangerous. Anyways, it is a possibly strong power that Naruto doesn't quite have the hang of yet. So, for the next 4 years until Naruto is 10 years old, he trains with Hiruzen every single day. Hiruzen makes time for it because he knows he's the only one who can actually train Naruto. He has to be the only one because people can't be knowing about this, especially not Danzo. And so, for the next 4 years, Naruto trains and he becomes very proficient with this Quake ability. And so, Hiruzen decides at age 10, Naruto should, full-time academy because he's been part-time at the academy due to training so much with Hiruzen. And so Naruto finishes up at the academy at 12 years old with the rest of his class. So after that happens, everybody gets the same teams, the same stuff happens, and Naruto's goal is still the same. I want to be Hokage! And so Kakashi is just like, alright, meet me tomorrow at the training grounds. Do not eat anything. You will throw it up. And so they listen. Next day, they go to the training grounds. Naruto and Sasuke are talking, because Sasuke doesn't actually, look down on Naruto in this timeline to Naruto being so skilled to begin with. And so, Sasuke and Naruto form this plan to fight Kakashi, and they actually decide to include Sakura, because, it's better with more people. Sakura would actually try and be some sort of bait alongside Naruto when Sasuke would come in with a sneak attack. Because Naruto, he's a big kid, He's like 5'10", 230, He's a big kid. And so Sasuke and Naruto, they work together. And so the battle basically goes, Sakura and Naruto, they do not hide, and they just go straight for Kakashi, and they start going in a taijutsu battle. Sakura is kind of getting folded, but Naruto's holding his own, and he even activates his Quake at certain parts, and it throws Kakashi completely off guard. He's like, what the hell was that? But then Kakashi understands it, and he starts avoiding that. And he starts being able to, start to overwhelm Naruto, because Naruto is not very experienced yet. And so, during that time, while Kakashi is very focused on dodging Naruto's punches, Sasuke would come in with the fireball jutsu, throw it at Kakashi, and when he's gotten to snatch the bells, it would just be a log. Kakashi would be in a tree nearby reading his book, and he's like, well, you guys are more skilled than I had thought. I'll close my book just this one time. And he puts his book away, and then he starts going at it with all three of them. And at the end, they do not manage to get the bells, unfortunately. Because, as strong as Naruto is, Kakashi is still stronger, let's be honest. And so, Kakashi ends up telling them, you passed. The whole purpose of this test was teamwork. And now that I know you guys can work as a team for a fact, I can pass you guys on without any regrets. And so, then things just continue, canonically. So, they do a bunch of, E rank, D rank missions. And that's when they're at, we're skilled enough, I think we should be able to do a higher ranked mission. And Hiruzen even looks at Kakashi, he's just like, do you think this is true? Kakashi's like, yeah. I mean, at this point, they might be able to go toe-to-toe with me without my Sharingan. They've improved so fast over the last few weeks. It's genuinely impressive, their adaptability. Especially Sakura, who is by far the weakest, is slowly closing that distance. And Hiruzen's like, oh, interesting. Alright, I guess I can give you this C-rank mission. And Tazuna comes in, and he sees Naruto, and he sees Kakashi. He's like, well, I guess I got two, Jonin here. And Hiruzen's like, no, Naruto's is a Genin. And Tazuna's like, what? He looks like he's a 30-year-old man. And Naruto's like, nah, I'm 12. And Tazuna's honestly shocked, but he's like, I guess it'll have to do. And so they begin to, pack, get ready for the next day. And they all go to bed. The next day, they all meet at the entrance to the village, and they start walking to the land of the waves. That's when they walk by this puddle, but it was strange. It hadn't rained for days. And as soon as they, pop out of the puddle, the Demon Brothers pop out of the puddle and attack Naruto and them, Naruto immediately turns around with a quaked fist, punching them into each other, into the ground, just breaking their ribs, breaking one arm and one leg. A pop. And Naruto's like, well, y'all weren't all that. And Kakashi ends up tying them up regardless, and he interrogates them after they wake up in a couple hours. And Kakashi looks at Tazuna and is like, there's something more to this mission. There's no reason Chunin Demon Brothers should have been here, unless you lied about the contents of this mission. And Tazuna admits he did. He explains the situation. And Kakashi honestly wants to go back to the village because he doesn't believe this situation is a good one. But the rest of the team says, no, we got this. You said we could fight you basically without your Sharingan and actually put up a solid fight. So trust us, we got this. And Kakashi is like, okay. I mean, it would be good for experience, especially since that's all Naruto's missing. His technique is solid. It could be better, but he's heavy missing experience. That's about it. And so they continue on, and that's when Kakashi says, duck! And they see a giant blade spin above them and land in a tree. And they look over at it, and they see Zabuza Momoshi standing on top of it. And that's when Kakashi's like, everybody stand back! I'm gonna have to fight him myself. And they're like, what? What's going on? He's just like, he's one of the 7 swordsmen of the mist. Kakashi immediately pulls up one side of his headband, his Sharingan active, and he just starts fighting him. And that's when Naruto notices Kakashi's letting his guard down for some reason. And he notices Zabuza is actually about to get the drop on Kakashi. That's when Naruto goes to punch Zabuza. However, before he could make it, Senbon would appear before Naruto. He's kind of confused about it, but he just ignored it. And Kakashi gets trapped. So Naruto and Sasuke end up forming a plan with Sakura to go get Kakashi out of that situation. So what Naruto did first was punch the water with his Quake Fruit to cause a lot of water to fly up in the air and, mess with Zabuza's field of vision. During that time, Sakura would throw Sasuke, actually, in this timeline. And Zabuza would barely notice it and manage to duck under it. However, Sasuke, de-transforms and throws another Wind Demon Shuriken, towards Zabuza's arm. And Zabuza has to move his arm. However, as he's moving his arm, Naruto is actually that one, and he de-transforms, and he punches Zabuza straight into the water using his Quake Fruit. Their team combination here was actually insanely good. Kakashi was genuinely impressed, and they had knocked out Zabuza cold. And that's when Haku, pretends to be a Mist Anbu, but Kakashi was not in a state to fight again, so he tells the team, let her take him. The Mist Anbu, not our jurisdiction. But Kakashi knew that they weren't actually Mist Anbu because they would have just disposed of Zabuza on the spot. So things actually remain fairly canonical, even the argument with the little guy, I forget his name. Anyways, that all remains fairly canonical. They all train walking up trees, and they all get it. However, Naruto took the longest, because Kurama is still messing with Naruto's chakra. It just so happens that the Quake Fruit doesn't rely on chakra anyway. However, after Naruto wakes up late and sees the mother and the son getting held hostage, he actually beats up all the bandits, and then he runs to the bridge, and he sees the battle's already begun. Sasuke's Sharingan has actually activated the One Tomoe, and he's still getting destroyed in the ice crystal mirrors. So Naruto actually runs inside, and Sasuke calls him an idiot. However, Naruto would punch up with the quake at full force, and the mirrors would start shaking violently, hitting off each other, until they would just start to shatter one by one. And Haku was actually shocked to see this occurring. Haku was like, how did you manage to do that? This doesn't make any sense. And so Naruto's like, I'm just that strong, I don't know what to tell you. And so Haku then, starts fighting Naruto in hand-to-hand combat. And Naruto is outskilled and outexperienced, basically. However, Sasuke isn't crippled. So Naruto and Sasuke actually double team Haku, while Sakura every here and there would throw, a kunai to stop Haku from backing up too far. And in the end, Naruto sees Haku about to jump out, but then he charges up his quake full force, punches Haku in the stomach into the ground. However, this causes a major issue. The water below the bridge starts shaking violently. Naruto went too far with it, and it basically created a mini tsunami, destroying the entire bridge, basically, except like where Sakura, Tazuna is and the other side. So they're gonna have to almost restart. And, it destroyed some homes on the coast of the water. And Naruto, seeing this, is genuinely pressed. He's stressed. He feels so guilty. But he notices Haku's gone. He's out. He's in the water. He's gone. And so Naruto actually runs down and tries to save as many people as he could. But there were still a couple who died in that attack. And Naruto is distraught about this, because all he wanted to do was protect them, and he ended up being the one to kill them. And Naruto, is in a situation where he doesn't know what to do. However, Kakashi had beaten Zabuza. He ends up going to talk to Naruto, And Naruto understands that he needs to get a better control on his ability. And he asks Kakashi if they can actually stay there a few more days, because due to this mistake, he wants to help everybody out. So for the next 3 days, Naruto uses all of his chakra every day, just creating shadow clones, like hundreds, and helping rebuild everything. The villagers, they don't hate Naruto. They understand that it was an accident, but they're still sad about the loss of their friends and stuff. And Naruto feels so guilty about it. However, Naruto understands that he's got to continue going on, And Kakashi, has one more talk before they leave with Naruto, and they head back to the village and talk with Hiruzen. Hiruzen regrets not teaching Naruto to hold back a lot more, because Naruto went too far this time by accident, and lives were lost. And so was part of, Naruto's soul, almost. Naruto was genuinely depressed about this. Anyways, then Kakashi asks the team, would they like to participate in the Chunin exams? Things remain basically canonical up until Orochimaru pulls up. Orochimaru pulls up on Sasuke, Sakura, and Naruto just feels how strong Orochimaru is. And when they all get hit by Bloodlust, Naruto is almost frozen. However, Naruto was hit by Hiruzen's Bloodlust because Hiruzen specifically trained him for a situation like this too. So he could still resist it a little bit. So he alone goes to fight Orochimaru. and he's getting two-pieced, let's be honest. He's just getting boxed up. And Sasuke tries to help a little bit with some fireball jutsus, but he's still terrified, so he isn't going all out. And when Orochimaru starts heading towards Sasuke, Naruto ends up actually activating some Nine-Tails chakra. His speed is boosted so much, his attack, and he pulls up on Orochimaru, and he punches Orochimaru to the ground full force. It actually forces Orochimaru to get rid of one of his bodies. And Naruto ends up fighting Orochimaru for like the next 10 minutes, going toe to toe, and he's getting hurt. I mean, Naruto got hurt during this fight. But Orochimaru is too tired. He can't continue. He might actually lose to Sasuke if he were to continue after he beats Naruto. Because in the end, he does pull off the seal. But Orochimaru, he's beat. He cannot fight, even like a Chunin at this point. He's almost crippled. And so Orochimaru opts to retreat. So Sasuke and Sakura drag Naruto to somewhere safe. The sound team pulls up. Naruto actually wakes up during this time. He feels aching in every part of his body. But he notices Sakura and Sasuke are honestly kind of losing. But then Lee pulls up, and then he comes out, and they all box up the Sound Genin. Nothing too crazy. They do have both scrolls at this point. And, so Naruto, Sasuke, and Sakura, they actually just head straight to the Chunin Tower. They make it there, things are pretty canonical. And then we go to the, 1 month skip for the training. Naruto actually does meet Jiraiya during this time, and he does learn the summoning jutsu. Anyways, he continues on, the 1v1s happen. Naruto actually just completely bodies Neji. Neji tries his palm rotation, Naruto just destroys it. The Quake is just too powerful. Threw Neji off balance when it was shaking the ground, and Neji couldn't do anything about Naruto's punch either. And so, the Konoha Crush begins after Sasuke actually hits Gaara. The barrier set up around Hiruzen and Orochimaru. Naruto goes after Sasuke, who's gone after Gaara. They all go do their thing. I mean, this remains fairly canonical, except Naruto has nowhere near as much trouble hitting Gaara because, the Quake actually made it quite a lot easier. The Quake abilities. So, he wakes up Gaara. Sasuke actually doesn't have an inferiority complex because even though Sasuke got bodied by Gaara, he understands that if he trains just a little bit harder, he learns some summoning, he can be just as strong as Naruto. And he believes it, and he's right. And so, Hiruzen still dies during this fight, though, which is heartbreaking. Things remain pretty canonical all the way, up until basically Naruto gets chased by... is chilling in the hotel, and Itachi and Kisame pull up. But when they open the door, Naruto knows something isn't right, and he immediately goes for a punch, and he full forces it. But it was blocked by Samehada, and Naruto's hand is bleeding. However, it created basically a mini earthquake, and Jiraiya immediately knows something's wrong. So Jiraiya immediately comes rushing back, and now it's Naruto and Jiraiya there, before Sasuke even arrives. And Kisame and Itachi just retreat because it's not worth the battle, because they might actually lose. And so that remains like that. And Sasuke, who pulled up a few seconds later, was like, what happened? Where are they? And Naruto's like, they retreated after seeing Jiraiya. He's like, God damn it, I need to get my revenge. And that's when Guy pulls up, and Jiraiya actually tells Guy, Sasuke can stay with them. He'll take Sasuke to train him on some things. And Guy's like, okay, Master Jiraiya. And so, Jiraiya teaches Naruto the Rasengan, but when it comes to Sasuke, he actually looks at Sasuke, he's like, truthfully, I'm not really the best choice to be training you, all things considered. However, I think you should learn from, Tsunade and Shizune, alongside who I'm going to suggest also does, because I've met Sakura, her chakra control is fantastic, far better than either of yours. I think you should both train underneath Tsunade. But I expect you to do something else while doing that, and I'll tell you about that after, guys. But Sasuke is like, so you won't train me? And Jiraiya's like, no, that's not what I said. I'm going to train you in my taijutsu style. Naruto doesn't use the same one. I have my own special style I use. And I think you would be a good match for it. So Jiraiya's teaching Sasuke taijutsu whilst Naruto's learning the Rasengan. And so Naruto learns the Rasengan. Sasuke becomes decent at, Jiraiya's taijutsu. He's kind of mixing his style and Jiraiya's together to create like a new style of taijutsu. And they end up coming to the village where they meet Tsunade. Tsunade shit talks. Naruto makes her take it back. They go to fight. When Tsunade goes to punch Naruto, Naruto goes to punch back with his quake, and he actually begins to overpower Tsunade. However, due to experience and stuff, Tsunade actually just, drops her arm and uppercuts Naruto, knocking him out instantly. And Tsunade is like, technically you did hit me when I countered your punch with mine. And she gave Naruto the necklace because she actually had some sort of respect for Naruto. And Sasuke, looking at the way Tsunade fights, actually decides, I see your point, Jiraiya, but however, I don't think she would be a good, teacher for me personally. And so Sasuke decides he's going to figure out how to make a summoning contract with a different species of something. And that's when he actually, on the way back, he thinks, maybe Asuma, I heard the third Hokage had Monkey King Enma. I think it'd be really cool if I could summon him. And so, once they get back to the village, Sasuke actually goes to Asuma and asks him about Monkey King Enma. And Asuma actually helps Sasuke get that summon. However, Sasuke can't summon him all the time, only if the situation is really dire. There's a restriction Enma himself put over him because he didn't want Sasuke abusing how strong Monkey King Enma was. And so, I did skip the Orochimaru fight. That's just because Tsunade did not, decide to go fight Orochimaru, unfortunately. They're back in the village chilling. Sakura asks Tsunade to teach her, and Sasuke, after learning the summoning jutsu from Asuma, goes back to Kakashi and asks him to train him. Naruto ends up leaving the village with Jiraiya, and they train for the next 3 years. During these 3 years, Naruto touches up on his two biggest weaknesses: his lack of experience and his lack of control. During these 2 years, he becomes fantastic with both. He's a lot stronger. He actually is as strong, if not stronger, than Jiraiya at the end of this 3-year time skip. Because during this time, Naruto also had learned Sage Mode. And Naruto is a perfect Sage already, He doesn't need to drop clones to get it either. He can gather chakra pretty consistently. Naruto had, matured a lot, gotten so much stronger. Naruto ends up returning to the village, Kakashi wouldn't be able to, keep up with them, so it was Kakashi, Tsunade, and Jiraiya, actually, versus Naruto, Sasuke, and Sakura. And, it's actually an insane battle. Sasuke is actually kind of piecing up Kakashi, until, Kakashi activates his Sharingan, and then Sasuke activates his, and they're still going at it. But that's when Naruto looks at Sasuke and is like, let's switch. And they hop in front of each other, basically, to where each other were, and they start fighting each other's, teachers, Naruto starts fighting Kakashi, and he's actually kind of boxing Kakashi up. Because Jiraiya is stronger than Kakashi, and Naruto is honestly putting Jiraiya on the back foot. Kakashi is fighting Jiraiya, and he's putting up a really good fight against Jiraiya. And Sakura is still fighting Tsunade. However, after Sasuke starts getting put on the back foot, Sakura and Sasuke decide to switch because they kind of wanted to test out each other's mentors. And the fight goes on for a while, but in the end, it ends up with Team 7 being declared the winner. Not because all the teachers lost, it's because one of them dropped first. That being Kakashi losing to Naruto. And Jiraiya is just like, I don't blame you, Kakashi. truthfully, if Naruto had continued fighting me, I would have fell first. And Kakashi is like, I appreciate that, Master Jiraiya. Things continue, canonically, they go on the Gaara saving mission, blah, blah, blah. They end up there. Sakura stays, to make the antidote. They go find where the lair is. Sakura finishes the antidote. They all go save Gaara. By the time they break the barrier, Gaara is dead, Deidara is sitting on his body, and Sasori's chilling there. Naruto stays with Granny Chiyo to fight Sasori in this timeline, whilst Sakura and Sasuke and Kakashi go after Deidara. Naruto actually just hits with one giant quake punch, destroying all the puppets. All the puppets just get shattered. And Naruto is just like, what you gonna do now, huh, Sasori? And Sasori actually goes to try and poison Naruto. However, before Sasori could do anything, Naruto punches Sasori's entire thing, breaking the shell, seeing like that weird cord thing in the middle of Sasori's real body. And that's when he, takes his sword out. Well, it's not really a sword, it's like a giant spear thing. What Whitebeard uses in One Piece. And stabs it just straight through the middle. And that destroys and kills Sasori. Chiyo is just standing there, mind-boggled. And Naruto's just like, let's say you helped me win that because people don't need to know how strong I am yet. I do not need people knowing so I can still catch some people off guard. So nobody actually knows how strong Naruto quite is. And Zetsu actually didn't manage to catch it because Naruto had beat Sasori before Zetsu had gotten there. Kakashi, ends up warping off Deidara's arm, and Deidara still manages to escape. Gaara's dead. Granny Chiyo actually sacrifices her life to bring Gaara back. They find out Asuma had died during that time, and they go to avenge Asuma. I mean, this fight isn't too entertaining. It's basically canon. They just destroy Kakuzu fast while Shikamaru kills Hidan. Jiraiya in this timeline actually doesn't go to the Hidden Rain due to the situation in the Hidden Leaf becoming dire. Itachi and Kisame both pull up to the Hidden Leaf to get Sasuke's attention. Sasuke falls for this, and he goes after Itachi. Naruto actually goes with him because he doesn't want Sasuke going by himself, because what if they work together? Sasuke loses. However, Kisame stops Naruto and says only he's allowed to go on ahead. So Naruto and Kisame, they start fighting. And Naruto actually got Kisame completely on a back foot without Sage Mode or anything. And then Kisame goes in his, shark form with Samehada. That's when Naruto goes into his Sage Mode, and they just keep boxing. Naruto does end up defeating Kisame around the same time Sasuke beats Itachi. It's pretty canonical strength, honestly. And so the battle ends and Obito appears. He snitches, basically. He kidnaps Sasuke, he takes Itachi and he tells Sasuke, you can have Itachi's eyes. He does the transplant. And then he tells Sasuke the truth. And as he's doing so, when Sasuke opens his eyes to look at him, there's Amaterasu thrown at Obito. And Obito's like, wow, I guess Itachi had planned for this. And Obito is just like, this is the proof you needed. That is what the Hidden Leaf did. And during this time, Sasuke is confused, so he ends up joining the Akatsuki. However, when he goes to get Killer Bee in this timeline, after Naruto's gone back to the village. After he's gone to go get Killer Bee, it was just Sasuke alone, because Sasuke is very strong at this point. Sasuke says to Killer Bee, the Akatsuki is going to be after him. And they actually make a plan, because Sasuke was confused, but he knows it's not the right thing to do to hunt all the Jinchuriki, especially not his best friend Naruto in the end. So he tells Killer Bee to give him a tentacle, and he'll give that to the Akatsuki. And so Killer Bee does this, thinking it's a pretty solid plan. So things actually remain relatively canonical, where A thinks, Sasuke killed Killer Bee, stuff like that. But that's not actually what happened at all. Sasuke and Killer Bee are actually together making plans to how to deal with this war. Anyways, Pain appears in the Hidden Leaf Village and destroys it. Naruto, getting out of the rubble, is enraged. There's so many people who had died. And Naruto jumps into the middle, and he's ready to box. He creates his shadow clone, and they all go in sage mode. They just destroy the Pains, honestly. It wasn't even really a fight. That's how badly they got destroyed. Naruto, destroys all the Pains. He finds out where Nagato is. He talked no jutsus Naruto, because it's still, same personality as actual Naruto. Pain ends up using Rinne Rebirth to bring back the entire Hidden Leaf Village. Naruto talks Pain down, blah, blah, blah. Jiraiya actually ends up going with Konan to have Nagato's funeral. However, when they're doing this, Obito appears and attacks. Konan and Jiraiya are fighting Obito. However, they don't manage to win, but they don't die either. However, Obito does get away with the Rinnegan. I'm kind of speedrunning this, kind of crazy. Anyways, so after Obito escapes with the Rinnegan, it's pretty canonical until the war arc. But in this war arc, Kabuto and Orochimaru are both working together. And Itachi and Sasuke actually end up having to beat both. However, Orochimaru never dies type stuff. So Orochimaru ends up, talking to Sasuke, and he says, well, you should talk to the first 4 Kage. And Sasuke is like, why? I know what I want. Orochimaru is like, that may be true, but maybe they can shed a new perspective on everything for you. And so Sasuke actually decides to go with Orochimaru, because Sasuke is at a point in his strength with his Mangekyo Sharingan, his Susanoo and stuff, that he knows he could beat Orochimaru if he needs to. So he ends up going to the Uchiha, stone tablet, where the 4 Kage are revived, pretty canonical here a little bit, and they talk. While this is going on, Naruto's currently on Turtle Island with Killer Bee after Killer Bee was found, by A, and he's learning how to tame the Ninetales. When it comes to this, Kushina and Minato appear due to Minato not having to appear earlier. So Kushina and Minato's appearance, he easily tames the Ninetales, and he gets to meet his parents. It's a very emotional meeting. So he has a conversation with them, and then they tame the Ninetales. Naruto ends up leaving the island, ignoring A and Tsunade's pleas, and just destroys the entire front line. He wipes everybody out. However, the Ten-Tail still manages to get brought back due to Ginkaku and Kinkaku. Things remain fairly canonical. I mean, he's still boxing everybody up, but yeah, things remain still fairly canonical up until the Ten-Tails bomb. When the Ten-Tails shoots off his tailed beast bomb towards the Shinobi Alliance, Naruto alone steps forward, fully encasing his fist and punching it at full force in Sage Mode and Kyuubi Mode. So, this Ten-Tails bomb is still getting held back, but Naruto's, fist is still getting pushed back slightly, and that's when it just vanishes. And he sees before him, Minato appearing, and Naruto's like, took you long enough, Dad, as he did in canon. And everybody's like, Dad? Who? And then they notice the 4th Hokage in front of them. Tobirama appears. This is pretty canonical. That's why this what if is short. A lot of this, even though Naruto does have a new ability, is relatively canonical. The Hokages create the Ten-Tails barrier. And instead of letting everybody go in, Naruto's like, I'll go in first, and then us 3, me, Sakura, and Sasuke, will all go in together to kill that thing. But shut the gate behind me. And so the 4 Kage do this, and Naruto whoops his fist at full power and punches full force into the ground, shattering everything and killing all the little enemies except for the Ten-Tails. Hashirama is like, wow, that's a powerful young man. And the other 4 Kage are in agreement. Naruto, Sasuke, and Sakura all work together from this point on to go kill the Ten Tails. However, while they're doing this, Madara and Obito both appear before them. And honestly, Madara is still so strong. Naruto is still winning technically, but like they're not able to kill the Ten Tails, and Ten Tails is still trying to attack. But Madara holding them off somehow. Obito ends up absorbing the Ten Tails. In this fight, it gets intense. And when I say intense, I mean intense. You know, the barrier ends up dropping. Minato and Hashirama and Tobirama end up all working together with Naruto and Sasuke to fight Obito. And Sakura, she is not by any metric of the word weak. She has surpassed Tsunade by a long shot at this point, because she ended up having to adapt to the strength growth of Naruto and Sasuke. So Sakura is able to hold off Madara for long enough for the other people to defeat Obito, but Obito isn't properly defeated. However, he's defeated long enough for them to have enough time to focus Madara. And when they're focusing Madara, they're just destroying him. And they end up sealing him in the Grand Sand Mausoleum before Madara can break it. And so, Madara ends up sealed before anything else. Which is kind of awesome in my opinion. So now it's everybody versus Obito. And honestly, let's be honest, Obito gets destroyed. I mean, not even Black Zetsu can do anything about that. Obito just gets clapped. Madara didn't even get revived, so there's no Kaguya. And yeah. So then Naruto, them, they kill Obito. They have to. There's no other choice. And yeah, that's about the end of the war arc. For me, that's the end of the story, really. It's not an hour long, but I think, it was a good enough story. I don't think it was terrible. And I think it's a nice little quick story to post right after my first What If back. My next story will be 10 times better, I guarantee it. I got a collab coming with someone, and then I got a collab on their channel, so I'm hoping to be cooking in the next week, hella. Anyways, that's it for me. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, and I'm gonna see you all next time. Peace.